Hello, this is Bill Clodsey. Welcome to a Magic 2019 draft where we start with the sweet rare Dismissive Pyromancer. It's removal, it's a 2-drop, it's card selection. Nice way to start a draft. And the rest of the pack is not great at all. The uncommons are nothing outstanding. Surge Mare is a pretty good blocker. And in the commons, you have Strangling Spores as the removal, Disperse is efficient, and then Drill Master might be the best sort of aggressive creature. But Pyromancer is way better than anything else there. And in this pack, we have a premium piece of removal, Hieromancer's Cage, which deals with any permanent pretty much for good. I mean, I've had some games where both players have some cages, and then you cage the cage, or totally lost the cage, and you can unlock your thing as a trick, but it doesn't take away from the fact that most of the time this goes unanswered and just deals with anything. Alright, beyond that, maybe we'd follow this pickup with the Instigator, because goblins and red aggressive decks and going wide, but the better cards are like the Wind Mage and the Stag, I guess. Whoa! Liliana and nobody wanted to try it. Liliana without anyone wanting to try it. I want to try it. Getting it this late means zombies are open, I suppose. I'll try it, sure. It's early enough here, and we could go into black or red or Mardu. Maybe we'll wheel Cinder Barons. Who knows? Right, so now we take all the good black cards we can get. This is not a zombie, but we'll find some zombies. Mind Rot, what are we looking for? If not zombies, then what? Maybe Cavalry Drill Master? Like, we'd be happy with a good red card, but Motivator's not really the card I want here. And white is probably, like, Cage is probably more of a pull into white than Pyromancer is a draw into red. It's unclear, but I do like the Drill Master. There we go. Doomed Dissenter. It doesn't have the graveyard synergy with Liliana, but it does have the removal synergy when it trades off or whatever. Endurance is fine. Act of Treason. I'll go with Endurance here. It might just be a pretty aggressive deck, using Liliana to close out the game as quickly as possible. And we'll just be trading off creatures and getting in more damage with Drill Masters. A funny version of a black-white deck, but you can't go too wrong with a bunch of neonates and efficient cards and planeswalkers. Infectious Horror. This might be the only time you can play Infectious Horror, but it is a zombie. And the +1 on Liliana, if it was just they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life, that'd be insane. So if you fill your deck with a bunch of random zombies, and if your deck is super aggressive, this is a fine curve topper. It just gets in for 2 damage no matter what, and if you're wide enough, they might just not be able to block it. Like, follow it up with a Drill Master, or whatever. Play it and then use Liliana as removal, then attack with it. What else can we do? This is not a zombie. Or is it? No. Foul Orchard. And Pyromancer. It is more likely that we end up in red than green. At this point, anyway. Epicure of Blood. That's a good card in this deck, kind of. Liliana's +1 does gain life sometimes, and then we have the Neonate, and it's just a 4/4 creature for 5. Can't go too wrong there. It does attack and block pretty well. What to do here? Cinder Barons or Skeleton Archer? The reason to take Skeleton Archer would be to open the Zombie Lord and have Death Touch Archers, basically. But I'm going to go with Cinder Barons, just in... like, we already have a pull into Black-Red, but we don't have a pull into the Skeleton Archer deck yet. Tectonic Rift is interesting. This deck is going to be all-in aggressive if I'm sort of guessing correctly here. Not a bad card to open when you're playing black. Lich's Caress. There's also Two-Headed Zombie as a zombie, which helps out Liliana. We're going to have so few zombies for Liliana. But, oh well, I haven't gotten to play with her yet, so this should be a nice little opportunity. Anyway, Lich's Caress just way better than any other card there. Bog Stomper. How committed are we to white at this point? Still more committed than red, I would say. Huh. Blood Divination when we have Dissenter and possibly some other stuff to sacrifice. Or Skeleton Archer. Yeah, maybe we'll pick up a few Dissenters and we'll really want this Divination. So let's try it. One worry with Liliana is just you mill yourself. Pretty unlikely, but it is the top 3 cards of your deck each time you use it. So if we're drawing 3 cards in addition to that, then things could get a little dicey later in the game. That's the only way to add loyalty to Liliana. It should say put up to 3 cards from the top of your library, so you can plus it while you don't have many left. This is a good way to make your bad creatures better. Sigiled Sword of Valoron, definitely picking that here. That's a real curve topper, so it fills in 2 spots on our curve, 3 and 6. Definitely grabbing that. Now, the other good card here would be Gallant Cavalry. We have enough going on at the 4-drop slot to care about that. Pegasus Courser, nice. This might just turn into a deck where we don't play Liliana, despite getting past it pretty early, but we do play the colors that it put us into. Anyway, Pegasus Courser is a solid addition to this deck. I wonder what the solid addition to this deck is. Well, same deck, but different pack. Ravenous Harpy and Reassembling Skeleton. Another pretty good one to sack with Blood Divination. But then the Ravenous Harpy's always been good. Sky Scanner. It's tough. I'll go with the Harpy. Flying, and then if we pick up a few more Dissenters, we'll be in good shape. Nice. Vanguard here. Get that aggressive deck going. Walking Corpse. Wow, our second zombie. Our second real zombie, and I don't want too many Blood Divinations. 1 is usually going to do it. 2 zombies and a Liliana. We're really getting there. Technically 3 zombies, but the plus from Liliana only cares about the zombies you're going to mill from the top of your deck. Another interesting pick here. We've got 2 3-drops. They're both good. Hired Blade is more consistent, certainly. And it can block all those pesky 1/3s that are going around and trying to get in there. Invoke the Divine might be more important against certain decks. I'll take Invoke the Divine, just to make sure we have 1 of those for the sideboard, at the very least. And besides, we want zombies, not humans, or whatever the heck that thing was. Mind Rot. Knight's Pledge, yeah, it's Mind Rot here. Clan Caller, just for, I don't know, maybe that's a good card in Standard or something. Epicure number 2, we even have more life gain. Lich's Caress, Vanguard, Neonate, all kinds of life gain. Duress for the sideboard. Maybe we'll pick up a life linker. We can put the sigiled sword on it and go ultra deep. All our skeletons have disappeared. Hopefully we don't open that Lord. I'd love to open it because it is I believe it's a zombie itself, but it helps skeletons as well. We passed all the good skeletons that work with it. Oh, you're kidding me. It is a good card to open here, but I would trade a few of my picks for those skeleton archers. Anyway, maybe we'll still get some, and I'm definitely taking it here because it makes cards like Infectious Horror a little less embarrassing to play, Walking Corpse. And it is a zombie itself, so Liliana is a big fan. Liliana can at least -3, or I guess that's her ultimate, to get it back. What next? A Johnny's Pridemate. Yeah, this deck can definitely get some counters going on a Pridemate, so grab that. I'm always on the lookout for zombies. There was no zombie in that pack, so we just have to deal here. Spores over Sentinel. Maybe a close pick, but I think that's right. Each player loses half their life, half the cards in their hand, and half the creatures they control, rounding up each time. Yeah, if you have a lot of cards like Dissenter, you might do well to play this. We have a lot of 4-drops already. I'm just going to take Forsaken Sanctuary. 19 playables with even some cards from the sideboard I wouldn't mind main decking, like Mind Rot and Invoke the Divine. So let's grab Consistency of Mana and a Skeleton Archer, please, or at least something that isn't a Teamer card. I'm not talking about Sovereign's Bite. Maybe I am talking about Sovereign's Bite. Let's just grab Sleep, because no one needs to be casting that against us. Wow. Doomed Dissenter. That's not a zombie, but it does help our deck out quite a bit. With this Ravenous Harpy and the rest. Death Baron. Cool. Another Drill Master. Not exactly the card I would hope to open most, but it does help us a little bit. We could have had a really streamlined synergistic skeleton deck, but I didn't think we were going to open Death Baron. I made those picks with the idea that there's a chance we'll open Death Baron or get past it, and yeah, I took that risk. Dwarven Priest, take a bunch of extra turns. We don't have artifacts to bring back, and you need a few before the Pack Beast gets good. Sigiled Sword will rarely die in the first place, so I'm not worried about that. Maybe one more card. I'd probably main deck Invoke the Divine at this point and call this a deck. This is aggressive. That's a lot of early creatures, and all of them are solid with the deck we have. And then looking at our tricks and removal over here, that's not a bad little group. And then some extra Sigiled Sword action. Knight's in a weird spot. It doesn't answer anything specific. The best thing I can think of is it's just a creature that can block a 6/6 trample, but it doesn't even trade with it or anything. I suppose if you have Knight of the Tusk and a 3/3, it lets you trade your 3/3 with a 6/6. If for some reason they attack, which they won't. Cool. Inspired Charge. The deck almost wants Inspired Charge. In fact, I think it does want it. So that comes in for Invoke the Divine in the main deck, and then we'll just have to see what else happens. Because we have a lot of early creatures, and we just kind of go wide. Even Sigiled Sword helps it quite a bit. The turn you attack with Sigiled Sword, you're making an extra creature that you can pump with Inspired Charge. Very good. What don't I want to play against? Sometimes it's just like the last thing I played against I'm like, that was pretty good when they drew extra cards with Scholar, or when they crushed me with Oakenform, or when they had another spell in their graveyard. So none of these cards really matter that much, but the last thing I lost to was blue. So there we go. Another way to decide what to pick is like what's good against opponents that are good against you. So maybe if an artifact deck is good against you, you could pass a Smelt, so someone else beats the artifact deck. Weird ways here. So what isn't good against us? Spells maybe? So we'll take Wall of Mist. Who knows? Reliquary Tower. Just a funny card to include. It really is a funny one to include. I'm not even sure if this is a constructed playable card in Standard. It certainly doesn't need a reprint for something like Commander. No real reason to splash the red. We have enough playables here. Liliana. Liliana with a deck that doesn't quite support her enough. But we might give some things -2, -2. We have 5 zombies. We'll call it 5 zombies. Yeah. Color. Looks like a 9-8 deck. Whoa. Maybe a 10-7 deck. How about a 10-8 deck? Is that too few black? It is a quarter of our deck black, and then on the early turns we pretty much have exactly as much white as black. So the color count later in the game doesn't matter as much. 10-8, and because we do have a lot of black later in the game, it makes sense to play a little bit more. I like it. I like it. We'll have to keep in mind Invoke the Divine, especially from the sideboard. Then after that, Duress is the good sideboard card. Oh, this should be fun. Round 1 versus Villa Boal. We'll take the play. Yeah, this is an aggressive start. Let's draw... I really want to draw Swamps, because we don't need more planes for this hand, and then eventually we'll draw black cards. Cool, we even have some double black cards. Not that it really matters what we play here. Of course, by the time we draw them, we'll have already had a chance to play another black, so playing planes there would have been fine. If anything, it hides what's going on. Omen Speaker, I don't mind seeing that. It means we don't have an attack this turn, or an attack that makes sense. One time I was tapped out and I attacked with a 2-2 into a 1-3, and my opponent like took the time to type in chat like, what is this attack? Are you serious? I said, well, it was free. The Scry isn't free though. They're taking their time on it. They go bottom top, classic. Yes, I will do that here. Definitely first main the creature so we get that. And attack. Really what you're hoping here is they misclick, but you definitely wouldn't want to do this if there was any chance you want to block with the Vanguard. Hoping they misclick. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. But it's literally free there. Omen Speaker. White, blue. This is... well, those are the colors of the artifact deck. But it could just be flyers or other stuff. Mill, even. So far, so flyer. Oh no, what do we do? This looks like and is inspired charge. So we'll just come at them. The attack actually looks like it makes sense because we can give the drill master flying. So that's a bonus because they might block 2 creatures. Like there and here. And that's just perfect. So we inspired charge, get a little 2-for-1 with an extra 2 damage tacked on to them. I'm glad the creature size worked out so that the attack made sense on its front. Otherwise they might have hedged their bets there and only blocked 1 or double blocked 1 or who knows what. Nice. Let's Blood Divination the Courser. We don't have main deck removal for that. Drawing land would be great. We could have done that second to get in another damage and another life. But I don't have time to think about stuff like that. No, that would have been much better. Here we go. We even get a land after all this time. What's better here? Pridemate or Epicure? Epicure has the chance of doing more damage next turn. Yeah, it'll already be a 4/4 next turn. They're both 4/4s next turn. The difference is Epicure gets in 1 more damage from the Vanguard this turn. Makes up for last turn a little bit. They should be at 4. If I was playing with any sense. Encyclopedia, not what they want, unless they're going to animate it into a 5/5. See if they counter the Pridemate. They'll have to do a little more than that, because they're pretty dead. What do we want? Duress could come in and invoke the Divine. And out the... We don't have any bad cards, that's our problem. Maybe the Endurance? Maybe the Dwarven Priest? I don't want to take out any zombie, like Infectious Horror is really bad, but at least I have an excuse to play it here. I'm going to leave the Endurance in and take out a Swamp. Yeah, 16 lands. Really getting a low curve here, but our deck is fairly aggressive. The most expensive card is Sigiled Sword, and the rest, 1 drops, 2 drops, and whatever. Blood Divination. Yeah, that's a bit awkward, but I do expect to be on the draw, so that's another reason to go down on lands. Every little effect matters. Ooh, a good start. Neonate into Pridemate, meaning eventually attacking for 6. Or 3. Well, maybe 6, hopefully 6. Land drops are good. Don't hold up counter magic, don't hold up... Oh no! Let's not play into counter magic. Because what we can do is wait until turn 4 to do Pridemate, and then activate it the same turn. And until then we can just use Neonate, and if they had Cancel or whatever up this turn, that doesn't matter so much. Engineer, no problem. And this is the turn. We go Pridemate, and then pass. Walking Corpse would get more power on the field, but the 4/4, the potential to have a 4/4 next turn is better because it can attack through the Engineer. Endurance would lose all the counters, even though it gets it back. Bonds? Okay, then. Blood Divination. Still doing its thing. Maybe it's still better to unlock the Dissenter. That's a possibility. Strange way that this was templated. You don't have to put the counter on it. I guess that's nice, because maybe you don't want it to be too big. But it is weird. Oh well, let's keep playing stuff. And if they ever attack, we get a big attack back. Now, if we really wanted this Pridemate back, we could wait until we can abnormal endurance and then sacrifice it, but that looks pretty far off. It's more likely they have creature counter magic. And apparently that's all they had. So let's just come in like this. I always play around counter magic. They might not have anything, but it's really suspicious that they're holding up this much mana and not doing anything. Wow, Salvager? That's embarrassing. They can't counter a Sigiled Sword. And it doesn't look too good for them to do anything, basically. Yeah, if they block here as I predicted, we can use abnormal endurance to save our thing and get a zombie. Well, we get the zombie either way, but this kills their thing and we get our thing back. I call that a 2-for-1. Well, it's only really a 2-for-1 because we get a zombie. So it's still a 2-for-1. Not looking good for them. We have lots of tiny creatures, and that spells disaster for them because we also have a Sigiled Sword. Might as well bonds the 2/2. Sounds about right. This also sounds about right. Sigiled Sword on the Dissenter, so we have infinite attackers. And why not? Drill Master too. Everybody's getting in there. This thing can't really block anyway. This spreads the damage out a bit wider. I would have put it on the Doom Dissenter because it's a hassle to re-equip, but if they kill the Doom Dissenter, we just get another zombie anyway, so it's not really that bad for us. And what they might have done here is just block the 4/2 zombie, if that's where we put the first strike. Yeah, if you're going to block a 2/2, you might as well take out the Vigilant one. That worked. On to the next match. Round 2. We are on the draw, but we have all the land we'll ever need and Death Baron. And Sigiled Sword. If we can just curve out lands, 4-drop. What's missing is a 4-drop and 2 lands to have the perfect curve here. Another blue deck I see. L Leaf 33 or I Leaf 33. English is a strange language. I don't know who let people get away with having a capital I look like an L. And a 1 for that matter. They should look different in every font. Oh boy. It's still going to be Dissenter here. Who knows what we'll do on the next turn. Maybe just trade off the Dissenter and then surprise them with the Death Baron if they don't hold up counter magic. Yeah, block. Now we can just get in for 3. Or they can bounce it, who knows. Right. Once a card like this is resolved against blue-white, they can't counter it, and if they lock it down with a pacifism, it still has the effect. So the best they can hope to do is exile it or bounce it and counter it on the way back down. But yes, this turn, Death Baron, attack for 3. A Drill Master might even be better there. Didn't think about it too much, but Drill Master lets us attack in with a bigger Death Baron next turn anyway. And we don't lose out on much. We'll just have to see what we draw. The plan next turn is to play the Sanctuary and Drill Master. If we draw a 4-drop, we'll probably do that instead. Oh no! They're going to race us or just play a blocker for the zombie. Unclear. They're racing us. They're going for it. Ooh, a 4-drop. I like it. They don't have much of a defense, so I'll attack with both of these. I should not have attacked with Death Baron. It looks a bit scary. I expect they'll block because they don't care about us using a pump spell. But I shouldn't have attacked because the other way to kill Death Baron is to kill a target tapped creature. Anyway, a little bit of a blunder there. Next turn, drawing land is good because we can either do Epicure or 2 things. They're still racing us. And they didn't have it, so we lucked out a little bit. What to do? Start with the Drill Master and put that on the Death Baron. Lose 2 life. That might be the first time this is triggered for me in all of the format. 10, take 10, or take 6. Either way. Ooh, they might have Mighty Leap themselves here. No. They just want to block some more damage. Oh, Mighty Leap wouldn't do it. Well, yes it would. This doesn't give itself Death Touch. Pass here. Looking grim if they can't use their mana. They are insistent on getting that damage in. Maybe they'll have a Wrath effect here. It is. It's Cleansing Nova and all creatures die. That's okay. We'll play another creature and kill their creature and then them. Well, maybe not that creature. Well, maybe we kill that creature because it is a 5/1. Goodbye, 5/1. Don't counter Lich's Caress. They're going to concede to that, sure. It's not like they lose 3 life from it, they just lose 1. But they figure that's good enough. Duress would be good against that. Mind Rot, similarly good. We'll be on the draw again, so I'll cut the land and I'll cut Dwarven Priest. How does that look? That looks fine. Invoke the Divine might also come in. It is blue-white after all. Opponent choose to play first as I expected, and this hand, I don't think this hand is going to get there. We have to draw white in the first 2 turns, and we just don't have that much of it. So we'll try to do a bit better. Oh no, this hand is worse. I'm going to mulligan again. This hand is a little better. We're looking for black. We can top that. And we have all our zombies and Liliana, so if this hand can't do it, then, well, that wouldn't be too strange, since it's not very good. About as well as you can do on a 5-card hand, I think. If only Liliana was good, right? This hand would be way better. Wow, that's such a good draw. It's been, like, in Limited, it's been a long time. I don't know what's going on with the red on Death Baron. Oh, there it goes. Sorting itself out. Cast this while it can resolve. Swing for the fences. We just have it all. No problem. And how many zombies do we have out? 2? We can use Liliana and -2 on something. Like a Wind Drake or... well... at least we can kill the Sky Scanner with it. If we draw land, which we do not. Harpy... Harpy or Vanguard? I think it's attack with Walking Corpse and play... oh gosh, that's embarrassing. I was gonna do the Vanguard, but because we played it this way, it makes more sense to do the Harpy. We can always do the Vanguard next turn. Ah, that's awkward. The whole point of playing the Vanguard there would be to gain the extra life. Star-Crowned Stag. They are getting aggressive here. I might... I don't know what to do here. I don't really want to lose Liliana, and that could easily happen this next turn. So let's just play another 2/2 zombie and pass. And if we don't lose a zombie, we can use Liliana to kill the Artificer or the Stag. We need to kill both, really. I guess it's the Artificer. Wow, Liliana's awesome when it's 2 volleys of -3, -3. Killing the Artificer, yeah, that seems really good. They can try to force in 1 more damage on killing the Artificer, yeah. They can try to force in 1 damage on Liliana if we do that by tapping our flyer, but then they lose their Stag. Otherwise, we can just kill the Stag as well and say goodbye to Liliana, because that's enough value from this terrible card. We'll see. Can we do it? And they might just attack Liliana with everything. That would be a funny play. Funny strange. Or attack us with everything. That's 8. They also have enough mana to pump everything twice. If they're not attacking us, then they probably don't do that. Those 2. 1 at Liliana. And the rest at us. They're showing us all the permutations of this. And they decide to make no attack at all. That is so ridiculously good. I can't believe it. How do we react to that? I still want to use Liliana here. Plussing it and then having it survive seems like a tough ask. So let's just kill the stag. Hold on. We might want to use Strangling Spores, but I'm not convinced of that. And we might even want to attack them here. Get in with a couple Death Touch creatures. They could trade one off with this Scholar. Not sure if we can avoid that. Oh gosh, if they go nuts over Liliana this next turn, that might be pretty good. We don't have that many zombies left, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm trying to get too greedy here. Oh shoot, I got too greedy. I misclicked on it actually. But not all is lost. Liliana is at 3 loyalty. And we can Strangling Spores the Snapping Drake before they do anything ridiculous. Cool. Live, Liliana, live. That puts them back onto their last turn, except that Liliana's at 1 more loyalty. So good luck. I can't be too sad I did it that way, although losing Pridemate kind of sucks. Getting closer to another Plains is fine. Hopefully this works out. Angel of Dawn, perfect. Yeah, that is really bad. Oh, they're all coming at us. Not caring about Liliana. Foolishly. Definitely want to kill that. And take 8, I guess. Can't do much else. Yeah, taking a huge hit. Not much we can do here except duress. Maybe we hit something sweet. Make a stand, Herald of Faith, Courser, Skyscanner. So we take make a stand and keep an eye on what all else they have. And we don't have another zombie here, so what to do? Now they can't pump anything up next turn. We could kill the Scholar. I'd rather just plus Liliana here. And shoot, we hit some stuff, but we didn't hit a zombie. Gain a life. Play a land so we can sacrifice a bunch of things. Yeah, it looks okay. This silly Liliana. The nice part about Liliana is if she survives at 3 loyalty, we can cast zombie cards from our graveyard. So it gets us back an Infectious Horror. I mean, I shouldn't have misclicked there. That was that turned out to be pretty horrible. Oh, interesting. They drew a card. So it's time to get super greedy here and block Skyscanner. Taking it to 1. They play something like Herald of Faith, no problem. Skyscanner. And Pegasus Courser, so we're super dead this turn. We don't want to sacrifice a zombie here because we want to draw a zombie, and we did not. So we want to gain 2 life, and we do not. All right. Ah, it was a funny misclick. A lot of flyers. The duress will be good. The mind rot should be good. Dwarven priest would have been a fine draw there. Oh well, that's about as good as Liliana can be. Hopefully we don't mess up like that again. Shame too, because that was a mulligan to 5. This looks a bit better. It doesn't have as good cards yet, but it does have some early action to play. Nothing they can really do here. And I wouldn't expect them to take vengeance there. I guess that was one option they had open. They're going to counter this. Better than countering the legendary infectious horror. Epic card that it is. Oh well, maybe they'll counter that. But having it in play first main is good for the Vanguard. A fun turn here. So we pump the Vanguard. They can block the Dissenter. They think we're just going to want to unlock our zombie and block it. And then we get 2 zombies, or at least another Dissenter. We don't need to play the land here. Nothing we could draw would change that. The only thing that would change it is if they mind rot us. But that's not going to happen. Wind Mage. Wind Mage. What to do about the Wind Mage? Let's just trade with it. We don't have a real reason to need all this life gain. So they might kill our Vanguard. Or they could unlock our zombie for us. No matter what they do, the cage could just take out a real blocker next turn. We can replace whatever they kill with our walking corpse. If only they had isolate, that'd be so good here. Okay, get our zombie, get another zombie, and pass it. That's a lot of lethal creatures, and that is one game over. We already win on board, right? Count it once, count it twice, count it 7. Okay, we win. And they'll block it though. They're not going to go to less than 0. Nice. On to the finals. Let's go, Sergio. I'll play first and keep these below average creatures because that's all we need. Below average creatures and below average planeswalkers. And the hope of a people. An undead people. If that's not hope, I don't know what is. The end combat phase. We have a stop. We are on the end combat phase of the first turn of the game. Here we go. Walking corpse. That's just going to be a heavier hitter than the Dissenter. True to the cowl. Okay, I stand corrected. Oh, I don't stand corrected. Death Baron, perfect. Perfect draw. Oh no, Vinemare, perfect. Perfect draw. Can't be blocked by black creatures. That seems totally unfair, but We'll work with it. I'm going to go with the center here. The center of the battlefield. They're coming in. 5 damage. No augmentations yet. That thing hits really hard when it gets some oaken form on it. Skyrider Patrol. That's one way to pump it up. But we're going to pump our creatures up too. Give them a chance to not block this. Oh, nice. So we get 1 more damage in. And yeah, we could have easily had a +2 spell. A little suspicious that we played the Harpy first, but that might have, you know, we might have done that even if we had the pump spell, just to throw them off a bit. Here we go. Something's getting in the air. It is the Vine Mare, despite already being unblockable. Yeah, no blocks from us. Don't worry about us. The Dwarven Priest might actually be relevant here, the life gain. Let's pump up the Harpy. Make it a relevant attacker, because they won't want to block with the patrol when it threatens to be, well, bigger. We can represent the same trick they were playing around last turn by playing land. Oh, don't counter it. Don't scatter it. What happens if they scatter it? Not too much changes, but here we gain 5. They could have disperse. What do you disperse here? Nothing, apparently. And they're at 10. We can attack with a bunch of death touch nonsense. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They can only attack back for about 10. So I would say it's fairly safe to attack with all of these creatures. And then if they block the Harpy with the patrol, that gets interesting. Here I'll just pass, because these blocks are totally fine. Aha! They do have disperse. Yeah. Anyway, that means we can sacrifice the walking corpse, because that's dead anyway. Puts another damage in on them. Death Baron will just have to come down next turn. Still, the attack makes sense, more or less. What do you do here? Just pump up the Vine Mare, attack with only the Vine Mare, and then try to survive this next turn. Because they probably want to block the Harpy. And then we are extra dead to the Vine Mare next turn, unless we can kill the patrol. And have our priest survive. Oh, more flyers. Oh, more irrelevant creatures. Can't even cast both. And we can't gain life this turn, so this is not going well. Anyway, most relevant thing we can do to the board is that, and the only way we can win is this. I just have no, I just don't think we can win. So when all of your plays lead to losses, they all kind of become equivalent. And what you're trying to do here is sort of play to them misplaying, which they're happily not doing. Okay, they are very deliberate though, so I'm just going to concede here. For the sake of your time, I could always edit it, but that's no fun. Submit. Invoke the Divine is an interesting potential inclusion, but we haven't seen the card that they would want here. Ooh, Liliana and a bunch of planes. But Vampire Neonate is a solid turn 1 play. Cool. We can even cast our Liliana on time. On time to do what? I don't know. See if this Harpy gets on the battlefield. I'll try to get it. No. Oh, they anticipate. Oof. That always gets me. I wonder when they're going to make the card that counters target creature or planeswalker spell. Did they have that already? They have cards that discard creatures or planeswalkers and that kill creatures or planeswalkers. But the counterspell specifically for a creature or planeswalker, you could print that card. It would have to be double blue, I think, and it wouldn't be that good except in a heavy blue deck. The things you think about. Liliana, let's go. Plus up. Wow, we actually hit a... Well, no, we don't hit anything. We're saving it for later. We hit 3 of our most powerful cards left in the deck. I'm sure we won't miss those. Epicure will be fun next turn if we can cast it without it getting countered. Apparently not. Liliana plussing again and hitting nothing again. Let's see what we can do here. They might just have disperse. In which case, Epicure hits the field. I'll still play Epicure. They do have it. I figure after anticipating once, they might have gotten it. Yeah, Essence Scatter. But we weren't sure. Liliana's still just pretty useless here. Or worse than useless. The good news is we have lots of creatures, zombies left in our deck. What is going on here? Totally lost. So Liliana mills herself. I mean, that's about as well as she can do here. Does she also mill a zombie? That's the question. Nope, 2 more lands. You did well, Liliana. Or something. And our board is rocking it here. 2 damage a turn, gaining some life. Lich's Caress to finish off their first big monster. Totally Lost is sweet. Rocks Oracle, that's also sweet. Pretty annoying on this board because we don't want to Lich's Caress it. Maybe we'll be far enough ahead not to worry about it. Oh, now we're talking. Definitely don't worry about it. Sigiled Sword on the flyer. Give it vigilance, get nice attackers and blockers for that Rocks Oracle. That was the perfect draw. All thanks to Liliana milling the top ineffective cards of our deck. Do they have the Plummet or something? What do they have? Skyrider Patrol. Doesn't even matter, although they'll probably give... They're not even doing it. What? Oh, I see. They have Disperse and they... I don't actually know what they have. Maybe another Essence Scatter. But it shouldn't affect killing the Skyrider Patrol here. Unless it's dispersed their own patrol. They could trade Rejuvenator for the Knight, but the Knight was free. Like, maybe we don't attack with the Knight if we have a choice, but I mean here it's just free value. Cool. Was it better to have the counter on the Harpy or to kill the 1/1? Probably to kill the 1/1. Cheaper too, since we'll use that mana anyway for the Neonate. That is so strange that they didn't use the Patrol. It must be another Essence Scatter. They're tapping out now. And we're going to get him with Death Baron. Not that that does much on this board, but all the zombies are still in our deck. So maybe it does something. Oh, cool. They have the free block on the Knight, but we have the free sacrifice of the Knight. Value. Death Baron underneath the counter magic and Vampire Neonate to drive things home here. They're dead in all sorts of ways. Their best bet would be to kill Ravenous Harpy somehow and then kill us before Neonate kills them. But they don't have it. So we're doing okay. It seems like they have a lot of ramp. If they're on the play, Mind Rot might be able to mess them up a bit. And yeah, let's do the classic play of take out the swamp. Should be good. Right, they put us on the draw. And this hand is absurd, so we'll keep it. Well, it's okay. Unless we draw that Neonate, then it really is absurd. Neonate, no more lands. Don't counter our Pridemate. Not the worst thing they could do. I mean, I'd rather have our Death Baron healthy. That might get countered too. You never can tell. If this gets countered, this game is over, because we have not drawn a card. Not a relevant card anyway. Okay, still nothing. I can respect that. Death Baron coming in. Walking Corpse, maybe they counter this. Bone to Ash. But if they don't, that is a 3/3 Death Touch for 2. Gotta watch out for their totally lost nonsense, but that nonsense only really affects us when they have 5 mana up. Oh boy. Drill Master. The only place we can really put it is the Walking Corpse. But they definitely can't block it. So extra damage, and then the harpy. Things are getting a little better. What now? Skyrider Patrol and then Thornhide Wolves becomes a real demon, a real pest to deal with. No, they're leaving up their Disperse again. Leaving up Disperse, huh? So here's what we do. We pump up the Ravenous Harpy. And then we're not going to want to sacrifice more than 1,000,000 creatures. Maybe we will. Don't want to be too tricky here. And then we attack with these two, and when they bounce our Death Baron, we can sacrifice the Walking Corpse to the Harpy, and then replay the Death Baron. So, things are decent here. And it still gets them a little bit. Yeah, it looks like they have the Disperse. Or they just like the trade. 5 mana for 2 mana. Fine with me. I was really afraid of the bounce, so what we might have done there is put the first strike on the Walking Corpse, but then the 4/2 first strike is really bad against the Wolves here. Yeah, that's all fine. Here we have an awfully silly play of just attacking with everything. Not the Harpy. And then sacrificing whatever they block. Sure. Maybe I should have attacked with the Harpy, but then that's better next turn. This is so stupid. We're sacrificing the best creature in our deck just to get 4 damage in. They're just... I'm seeing red here. I'm seeing blood. They're at 6 life. They're getting flooded. Don't cast Palaka Worm. Okay. Dreadmaw. Dreadmaw's not as bad. I swear, if they hold Disperse up for the rest of the game, I don't know what I'm going to do. Besides lose. Well, we'll start with losing. Here we go, Harpy coming in, Harpy action. They have it, they have Disperse, don't they? But it's not going to stop me from trying, because there's nothing else I can do. Such is the flood. Why play the lands out here? The lands here make a little bit of sense. They just have more patrols anyway. Because we could draw a draw 3 effect for 4, and we want to be able to play the spells on that turn because things are looking dire. Things are not looking good. Ooh, they can pump each other up. That's some insurance against a 1/2 Harpy. Yep. They're trying really hard to activate this ability. Did they tap the wrong color? I have no idea. Okay, here they go. Something relevant. I don't think there is anything relevant left in the whole set. But they're at 6 life. That's so little life. Maybe Liliana hitting a zombie every turn, or 1 turn, or something. What could it be? What is the best draw in the deck? Sigiled Sword of Valoron goes a long way. Even spot removal like Hieromancer's Cage and Strangling Spores and Lich's Caress, they don't do quite enough here. Oh, if we could do 4 damage to them somehow, that would be absurd. Yeah, maybe we have 1 more turn here. Let's say we draw Liliana, hit a zombie in the graveyard, attack with Infectious Horror, and then attack with 3 creatures that each do 2 damage. That's it. That's the line. Of course, they might have another blocker, and that screws things up, but let's start with a Liliana. Or a removal spell. Okay, let's start with a Liliana. There she is. No. Alright. Well, what is the plan now? To block 1,000,000 damage? I'm just not going to attack here. Yeah, we're dead. They have too many flyers. And we are super dead. See how they do this. If they get really greedy, not greedy, but they could just make all of their creatures flying and attack. And any 2 will be lethal. Oh, that's not true. We could let... Well, yeah, that is true because this has trample. It's not true if we have murder. And they have no idea what we have. We can beat an attack of just the Dreadmaw. We can beat an attack of the Dreadmaw and the Wolves. We can't beat an all-out attack. Ah, so they've done it. They've really done it this time. Any help from the top? Of course, it won't let us check, because why would it? Not really. Although, if they didn't have the Thornhide Wolves there, we were in good shape. Or some kind of shape. If we drew Abnormal Endurance instead of the Courser, and they didn't have the Wolves, then we've got a shot. Divination, next 3 cards. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this format as much as I have, and good luck in your drafts.